But in Yampi Sound near Broome, and there was, during the war, an American supply ship moored there. Now, we would have beautiful meals, so much to the agony of all the other servicemen around the place. But they would refuel us and feed us, and if necessary, well, we'd find a place to sleep for the night while we were there. But it just doesn't register too much specifically. I mean, if we were tired, we found a place to lie down and have a sleep. When you had an action, you would be prepared early in the morning, get your things organised, and we'd go down to this place at Yampi Sound, and there would be a briefing of what were likely to happen, and then you'd just have a place where you could lie down, and there was a couple of beds and that sort of thing. We were always ready by about 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock in the middle of the day to go out and get the aircraft ready. And we would take off at about 1:30 or 2 o'clock, way out into the westering sun, so that there was sun beating in. The reason for being down at this place was if we had gone directly out from Darwin, we would have been subject to the fighter planes, the Japanese fighter planes from Timor. But when we went down to Yampi Sound, we could take off directly and be away from the threat of other interference by any Japanese fighter planes who were not able to have a long period in the air because they were just very small. That was the routine: take off at 1 o'clock, fly all night, come back in the morning. If we were lucky and it was regarded as safe, we would go back home straight to Darwin. Otherwise, we'd come back to Yampi Sound and wait until it was time for us to go back to our quarters that were up in Darwin. By the time we got ourselves organised and got the mines on board, got down to Yampi Sound, it was almost more than a day. We'd go and fly all night and then come back, and the aircraft would need quite a lot of maintenance work done on it, and it meant that you could only fit 2 of these undertakings in a week. Once we got back, we were on duty, and the rule was there was a sudden emergency, then we were expected to get down to the plane and get off and do. That's when we did that rescue of the plane that was on Cartier Island. So you just accepted the fact that if you had a chance, you'd have a rest where you were, and you weren't quartered in a situation like this at all. You'd find somewhere comfortable to sleep for the night and then get ready for the next day. But then that would take all of that night. You'd be back 7:30, 8 in the morning, and by the time then there were a lot of engine sort of repairs, because those engines had been going flat out all night, you know, and it was necessary to have the mechanical side of the plane as faultless as was possible.